journey through heaven and hell weighed heavy on Cartman and his friends, but Eric's bravery had returned them to Earth.
Oh God, another shithole. Why the hell did we get sent to Mexico? I don't think this is Mexico, dude. Oh, Peru. Hey, Kenny's right. This is Peru. Mexico is in Peru, retard.
I'm Glenn McKnight, and I'm a senior designer at Other Ocean Interactive, and we're here looking at South Park Tenorman's Revenge. South Park Tenorman Revenge, it's a 4-player action co-op adventure, drop and play with you and your friends are the South Park boys, and you're trying to get your hard drive back for your Xbox. So we got all 4 characters here. Each character has a special ability. That ability allows them to get to new areas and access new things. Stan can throw a football, Kenny has a super jump, Kyle can show his gingerness and stun the enemy, and Cartman, just being fat, can make his belly barge. Here we are seeing some of the ginger minions that you fight throughout the game. Tenorman has sent you at this level to Peru, and he sends you to all kinds of levels like heaven and hell and all across the world of South Park. I mean, we worked really closely with South Park to create a game that feels like an episode of South Park where you're really in there playing with your buddies and being the boys. There's 22 levels in the game, anywhere from 3 to 8 hours of play, depending on if you want to get all the surprises and secrets. Right now we're running around collecting some time particles. The time particles help us if we want to get speed runs and those gold medals and get high scores on the leaderboards. You can see all the gingers, their skins break off when you smash them. And you can even grief your friends, grab a crowbar and beat on your friends and just, go to town with it with your buddies. As you can see, we got trampolines. We have bombs and difficult jumps and all kinds of other miserableness. No, it's a great game. So what someone just grabbed there is a time core. Time cores are key to the game. They're like the stars that will unlock the future levels to access new content. So you got to grab all of those when you can. So right now, we're all trying to figure out where we're going. It looks like some people are going up. Let's go up. So one of the great things about this game is I think this is a game where you're going to have the most fun when you grab some friends, grab some beers. This is an M title. It's got all the foul language of South Park. The script was written by the guys at South Park. The characters are from the show. And this is a total South Park game through and through. And I think we're really proud of that. Microsoft and Other Ocean have really put a lot of energy into giving something the fans will love. I think everyone's going to be really excited about getting this chance to play this. This game's coming out this spring on the Xbox Live Arcade. It's an exclusive. Here's Scott Tenorman attacking us with his time bombs.
Is it just the 4 South Park main guys as playable characters?
Yep, we have the 4 main guys as playable characters. But we have cameos by Mr. Hanky, Satan, Towley, St. Peter, several other characters that I'm not going to talk about, but you'll see them all once you get the full experience.
Difficult to scale depending on how many players, or?
Not really. There is some small modifications to the kind of collectibles you get and how much pickups. So, but as far as how the enemy behavior are, they behave the same. But you'll find that you won't get as many hearts and other pickups when you're playing with 4 players as you will with single player. And then the other component is when you're playing with less players, because you don't have the abilities of the other characters, it's harder to access areas. So you're definitely encouraged, if you want to get the best scores and the highest leaderboard things, to get more people on playing with you. And all 4 of the characters have superhero powers that you can also find for short periods of time. They're power-ups. So Cartman becomes the Coon, Kenny becomes Mysterion, Kyle gets to be the human kite, and Stan gets to be Toolshed.
Now, are all the levels in the game based on actual South Park locations, or is there some original content?
Almost all, you do go to the Chili Con Carnival, which is basically like a nightmare fantasy created by Tenorman's mind, which has never been, as far as I know, in an episode, or at least not like it is in ours. So just there, I used the belly barge to kind of push through that wall, and that's one of Cartman's abilities. So this is one of the branches. So we have 22 levels and over 80 branches in the game. And the branches can be really short, like this one's a pretty small, just kind of quick, grab some things. But some of them are longer. There's some mazes and various things that use some of the character's abilities. But since you can't access them without that character, that means that you either need to play with more friends or come back and replay the levels. And when each level has 3 Mega Men. Once you collect it, you don't have to collect it again. Collect all the Mega Men in the game, and you get an Avatar Award.
Okay.
There's a few other Avatar Awards for different things in the game.
What are the Cheesy Proof pickups for?
Cheesy Poofs give you an extra life.
And how are lives, is it just a set? Or?
So you start with 6 lives. When you can keep getting lives, and those will be saved if you go into a new level. But if you run out of all your lives, you start back with 6 if you jump back into the game. If you lose all your lives in like a multiplayer 4-player game, you'll be respawned at the next checkpoint you get to, so you have another chance to kind of like bring yourself back. So, but you'll only have the 1 life, so you got to make what you can of it. I mentioned before, but like it's really cool. Like we got the actual Maya files from South Park, so these are like their characters from the show, and then we use them to, and even use some of their animations and tweak them for the various platforming mechanics. But I think it's what really kind of makes them feel like you're really seeing the show.
What has been so far the biggest challenge in terms of replicating the South Park aesthetics?
I think the biggest challenge is like being able to create these environments in giant 2D spaces. Like the show usually features in small areas, and so being able to scale that across like a big experience was definitely, and they have such a crazy mixture of different looks and styles, so to like between levels, to get a consistency was a challenge. But I think the team at Other Ocean really did. We had, I think, 12 artists working on this for almost a year to really like put it together. So what you're doing is trying to push them over. You can push gingers over like you can push your friends over, but you can't kill them that way. So it's good for the spiked ones. If you don't have a weapon, you can knock them over. Well, I have a weapon, and you can drop your weapons by hitting the bumper keys. So, and so like the 4S, so different enemies have different behaviors. These ones clone themselves. Bollock flies just knock you over, but they just keep chasing you forever. These big guys have like a stomps attack. We really were kind of inspired by classic games like Mario and stuff, and wanted to create that kind of experience. Something that's not too hard. You want your little brother to play if your parents let him. But we are an M title, so we expect this is going to be aimed more at adults, and so the game is actually pretty tough.
Will there be any like secret unlockables, like clicks and show art?
We don't have any secret unlockables for this, other than the Avatar Awards and things like that. Yeah, so we have, you've seen the bats and crowbars. We also have a portal gun that shoots out a portal that sucks things in, and You can also end up sucking your friends into it if you're not careful. So it's kind of we kept playing with all the weapons in that way, where it's like we wanted you to be able to harass your buddies, because we found that part of the other platforming games, you know, like Mario, were really fun. We didn't like the bouncing on each other's head from Mario, so we kind of kept that away from this experience. So if you decide not to beat on each other, you're not like forced to grief each other even when you don't want to. And I mean, the levels I'm showing you today are also much later in the game. Just so you get to see more of the crazy action that happens. So what I just got was a time manipulation device. So when that activates for a very short period of time, everything's in slow motion. Sometimes they're helpful, sometimes they're not, just depending on where we place them in the design. So they're either a challenge or an aid. Basically, the boys just keep portaling around the world, trying to find the portal that will get them to Scott Tenorman. Like this, he's been throwing these portals up in front of them, and you know, just like any of these kind of games, they just keep getting upset. Like, why the hell are we here? Because that's like video games. You go to the ice world, you go to the snow world, and you're like, why am I doing it? And they just complain about it. And that's, I think, what South Park did a great job with, is they looked at games, they're gamers, and they saw all the kind of common things that are cliches of games, and then they had the boys comment on it and make fun of it. So I think that's really cool.